No, I'm not going to ride that. I thought about it, but I'd crush it. But I wanted to show you guys something with these two minivans because it's all about cargo and it's all about which all-wheel drive minivan is best for you. And I have a Toyota Sienna 2021 right here with beautiful green, all-wheel drive, and a Chrysler Pacifica with all-wheel drive. In this video, we're going to talk about cargo, we're going to talk about space, and we have a volunteer. I bet you recognize this Chrysler Pacifica. That's right, we had this before, so we're using this sort of as the yardstick. Now, the Chrysler Pacifica, we'll go into the all-wheel drive system a little bit later, but I wanted to go over something we don't normally do, which is the cup test. And this is a special TFL cup. It's not TFL, it's my cup. But we're gonna do a cup test, so follow me over to the door. A typical coffee cup, a lot of you guys are not buying, and you can indeed get that right there. And if you really had to, you could kind of sort of go sideways there as long as the top is securely fastened. 1, 2 here. And I suppose you could maybe put something in here, but it'll flop around. So, up front, for the driver, I'm only counting the driver because I'm the only person that matters. My passengers don't. There are 4 cup holders that I can use. Let's see about the Toyota. Once again, TFL coffee cup. That does actually say TFL on it. All right, it can go there. It can go there. There's a little spot here. It's not really, it doesn't really work, but there's 2 here. Boom. Nice spot right there. Nice spot right there. Oh, holy cow! Spot here. Spot there. And then you got this massive compartment where you can hide a couple of these and a short auto reviewer from Chicago. You can shove it all in here. Cool thing is, at least with the Toyota, it wins when it comes to cup holders for the driver, the most important person. This is what it's all about in terms of both of these vehicles being all-wheel drive, because the thing is they're very different. They do all-wheel drive in a very different way. So what type of system is it? It is front engine, front drive, hybrid that has no mechanical connection to the rear. These are powered through an electric motor. And basically the way the system works is if it detects slippage, it sends or asks for power back here. It may seem really complex, but it really works well when you talk about economy. This thing gets stupid good MPG for an all-wheel drive minivan. Completely different all-wheel drive system inside the Chrysler Pacifica all-wheel drive, and that is because this is a mechanical all-wheel drive system, so there's actually a drive shaft that goes to an axle back here. It sends power to the rear wheels as needed, and it's a pretty decent all-wheel drive system. I consider it to be better in snow than the Sienna, but only just. This all-wheel drive system in this vehicle, and the fact that it has more horsepower, that's awesome. It works great. It's a little bit quicker, a little bit more fun to drive, but it gets really poor gas mileage. 2 numbers that are important, 287 and 245. That is horsepower, that is ponies. Now, it's a little bit different between the 2 of them because this vehicle, 245 horsepower combined. So that's everything together, the gas engine. This, 287 horsepower. Very different. You know what else is different? Transmissions. The Chrysler has a 9-speed automatic transmission. The Toyota Sienna has a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. Both vehicles are 7-seaters. Both vehicles have a fully stowable 3rd row seat, but then things change. And the reason they change is because the way they are set up. You don't have stow and go seating in the Toyota Sienna, but you do have it in a Pacifica. And it makes a really big difference when you're talking about cargo space. We'll get to that in a second, but let's talk about seating because that's different as well. Okay, these 2nd row seats are actually quite comfortable in this Toyota. Now bear in mind that this is the top of the line version of this vehicle. Now if you look down here, this is how you move the seat fore and aft. And then of course, reclining, okay? In terms of what you can do with this space, not only enough room for 2 adults comfortably here, but also in the back seat. You also have this. Look at that screen. That is some pretty good stuff. Remember, they used to call the Sienna the Shagwagon, or I think they did. Jeff got irritated with me and didn't want to sit in this seat, which is fine, because I'm able to still show you how this one works. It's not as flexible, at least standing up, as the seat inside the Sienna. And the reason why is because it's a stow and go seat. There are two things that are really important to people who buy minivans. One is passenger space and the other is cargo space. Now, both vans are very close with passenger space, but cargo space is another story. Okay guys, so let's slide this forward because this is the only way you can get maximum cargo space in this van. Yep, see how that pops up? And that's about it. Look down here, you have a flat floor leading up to this. And the reason why I wanted to show this is because maximum cargo capacity with this setup is 101 cubic feet. Unlike the Chrysler, the third row seat is manual. So in order to bring it up, it's a fairly easy thing to do. See what I'm saying? Now once you do that, the cargo room back here is 33.5 cubic feet. So it's slightly more behind the third row, but altogether a lot less. Wanted to show you stow and go. Now, you do have to remove this. You have to make sure the passenger seat is all the way forward. And you open the thing up. And honestly, I'm an ape, so someone who's competent could probably do it twice as fast as I did it. But what you're looking at here is enough space to lay down 4x8 pieces of plywood and close the hatch. You can't do that in the Toyota. In fact, there are very few vehicles you can actually do that in other than pickup trucks. Doing that in this vehicle means that it has 140.5 cubic feet of cargo space. You do get slightly less cargo space back here behind the third row seat when you compare it to the Toyota. So there's a little bit of a payoff, but it's minor. 32.3 cubic feet of cargo space. It's not too bad. Both of these vehicles are not currently equipped with the tow package, but in case you do get a towing package, the Sienna tows 3,500 pounds. That's not bad. Back here, where there is another non-existent tow package, but you can get one, this vehicle will tow up to 3,600 pounds. Now remember, you have to check your actual load ratings to make sure that you're towing something that coincides with the amount of people and cargo that you have inside, so you're not scraping on the ground. One really cool thing that I absolutely love about this minivan, this is the Chrysler Pacifica, if you couldn't tell by the blue as opposed to green, and that is the fact that this crossbar setup is convertible. So I can move this over there and screw it in, and boom, I have crossbars, and if I don't need them, I can move it here. And that's good for two things: aerodynamics, and with this massive panoramic sunroof, it's good for your view. However, what about the Toyota? Now, if you do get the rack on top of the Toyota Sienna, then you're going to have a permanent system. This is set up like this. It doesn't swing back and forth like it does on the Chrysler, but the setup here is pretty good. You don't have to worry about interfering with the sunroof because the sunroof is a little tiny thing over here. So in terms of cargo flexibility and in terms of cool sunroofs, I guess the Pacifica wins this one. Alright, cowpokes. No, I'm not going to ride this bad boy on camera. Wouldn't do that. I am going to drive both of these minivans. And the thing is, no, we're not going to do a 0 to 60. We already do stuff like that. But I wanted to talk about how they feel to drive seat of the pants. Yeah. This one drives a little bit better, I think. We're in the Chrysler, by the way. I think it has a slightly more comfortable ride. I think it has a little bit better acceleration off the line and in traffic, and it is slightly more responsive with steering. All of that means nothing when it comes to minivan shopping. Some of you guys are probably wondering about the other version of this van. There is a plug-in hybrid version of this van, and it does exactly that. You plug it in and you let it charge, and then you have battery and you have really good mileage. Yeah, that's not available with all-wheel drive. We're talking about all-wheel drive vehicles. As for the rest of the van, it's a minivan. It seems to feel like it's a little bit more athletic, a little bit more. But in all honesty, between the two of them, they're about the same. Do you hear that? Yep. That's because when this vehicle's going at slow speeds, the electric motor will give it a little bit of a push. So let's talk about this van in terms of driving experience. It is a slower vehicle than the Pacifica, but it's quiet and it is comfortable. This vehicle will lull you to sleep, even the driver. This interior is so much nicer. It is a real step up. But bear in mind that this is the very top of the line Platinum. So this whole setup here isn't quite as nice on the lower levels. But in terms of driving experience, this is very numb. The steering, there's no real weight to it. I really don't have a lot of clues about what that front wheel is doing on either side. Really don't. But in terms of overall utility and comfort, both vans are splendid. I highly recommend that you park them next to each other when you test drive one, jump in the other, have the kids soil it and do whatever they do. You will find one of these two vans is perfect for you. They're both extraordinary. All right, so you want to yell at Junior? That's all you got. It kind of works, although they do gain weight because of the shape of the mirror, but this allows you to see what's going on behind you to a certain degree. But the one in the Pacifica is very different. Boom! Yes, you have a mirror in this one like the Toyota. This one's actually not too bad, but the Toyota's is like wider. This one is kind of deeper, okay? But the family cam, even better, right? Family cam, hit this button as you are driving. Holy mackerel, look at those seats. So you are actually able to look at these seats as Junior is beating up on other Junior, or as they're doing something else nefarious in the back. You can actually focus on the individual seats. Look at that. Look at that. Boom, look at that. This has been a really hard video for me to make because I really like the Pacifica. I think that the all-wheel drive system works really well in practical applications. It's very comfortable, very competent, and it can be relatively affordable if you get the base model. But here's the problem. The Sienna is just a better van. It's a better value. It's more logical. It gets way better gas mileage. The only thing it doesn't do as well as the Pacifica is cargo and towing. Otherwise, this is so much better. Let me give you a little example of what I'm talking about. So this is the fully loaded top of the line Platinum all-wheel drive 2021 Toyota Sienna. With all the features, sunroof, leather, all that stuff, it comes out to $54,212. Now you can get a van for a lot less, but here's my issue. This Chrysler Pacifica, which once again, we have done videos with it before. As it sits, this is the Pacifica Limited all-wheel drive S Appearance Package. This isn't even on the top of the line. It's not even close. There's a bunch of stuff above it, which are a lot more expensive. This one runs $50,180. Now, a couple grand between the two, I'm sorry, but this thing gets crazy good gas mileage, crazy good range. It's comfortable. It has better cup holders. What else can I say? Other than the fact that if you need to tow a little tiny bit more or hold a little bit more in terms of cargo, then look at the Pacifica. Thank you for joining me for the Fast Lane Car and all the other TFL channels. This is Nathan. I'll see you next time.